Hello, dear students. Welcome back in class 10th biology. Students, I hope that you all are safe and sound at your homes. I also hope that you all are studying sincerely and watching all video lectures of biology very carefully. In continuation of chapter 6 life processes, today we will study in detail about the topic transportation in plants. In today's topic, we will learn in detail about need of transport or vascular system in plants, major components of transport system in plants that are xylem and phloem, transport of water and minerals in plants through xylem, transpiration and its significance in plants, translocation of food in plants through phloem, difference between transpiration and translocation, difference between transport of materials in xylem and phloem. What is the need of transport system or vascular system in plants? Students, we all know that plants take in carbon dioxide, water, and synthesize food in the leaves with the help of chlorophyll and sunlight by the process of photosynthesis. Besides carbon dioxide and water, plants also need other raw materials that are minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. for building up their bodies and for their growth. They get these all raw materials that are minerals in the form of micronutrients and macronutrients from the soil along with water through roots. And these minerals need to be transported to each and every part of the plant, mainly to leaves for manufacturing the organic food. The food that is manufactured in the leaves also needs to be transported to all parts of the plant for obtaining energy and for its storage. Students, if the distance between the roots and the leaves is small, then these materials can diffuse easily to all parts of the plant body. But if the distance between the roots and the leaves is more, that is in tall trees, then proper system of transportation of these material is needed. What are various components of transport system in plants? Students, energy needs differ between different plant bodies because of two reasons. One, plants do not move, they are stationary, they are fixed at one place. Secondly, they have large proportion of dead cells in many tissues. So due to these two reasons, plants have low energy needs and can use relatively slow transport system. Plants possess two independent pathways to transport water and minerals and food from one part of the plant to the other. Transport system or vascular system or conducting system in plants is mainly composed of two components, xylem and phloem. Xylem consists of four basic elements that are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. The trachea elements that are tracheids and vessels conduct water and minerals from roots to leaves. Phloem consists of four basic elements that are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Sieve tubes, with the help of adjacent companion cells, conduct food from leaves to all parts of the plant, including roots. Students, have a look at this diagram. You can see the roots absorb water with minerals and transport them to the aerial parts of the plant through xylem. The organic food is synthesized in the leaves and is transported to all parts of the plant, including roots, through phloem tissue. So, xylem conducts water and minerals from roots to the aerial parts of the plants that are leaves, in upward direction. Phloem conducts food from leaves to all parts of the plant, including roots, in both upward and downward direction. Now, let us learn about transportation of water and minerals in plants through xylem. Students, look at this diagram. This portion of diagram represents the internal structure of roots. This part represents the xylem tissue of the stems which enter into the leaves, and this portion represents the internal structure of leaves. Water along with minerals enter in the roots through root hairs from the soil. From root hairs, water moves into cortex. From cortex, it enters the endodermis of the roots and ultimately it reaches the root xylem. In xylem tissue, vessels and tracheids of roots, stems, and leaves are interconnected to form a continuous system of water conducting channels, reaching all aerial parts of the plant, especially leaves. Now, students, let us learn in detail that how water with minerals enter the roots and reaches the top of the plants. Have a look at this diagram. At the roots, the cells are in direct contact with the soil and take up mineral ions actively from the soil. Mineral absorption is an active process that involves utilization of energy in the form of ATP. Active absorption of minerals creates a higher concentration of mineral ions in the roots as compared to the soil solution. It means the concentration of minerals is more in the root cells and concentration of water is less in the root cells. So, as a result, the osmotic pressure of the root cells increases. This creates a difference in the concentration of mineral ions between the root cells and the soil. Therefore, water moves into the root cells from the soil to remove this difference. Thus, there is a steady movement of water into the root xylem from the root cells that builds up root pressure and the water is steadily pushed upward. Students, this root pressure is sufficient to push water in short height plants like herbs. However, this root pressure alone is not enough to move water in tall plants. So, tall plants use another strategy to transport water from roots to the highest point of the tall plants through xylem by the way of transpiration pull. Some water is utilized by the leaves in the process of photosynthesis, and the rest of the water is lost from the leaves through stomata during transpiration. It creates a suction force in the mesophyll cells of the leaves that pulls water up the column from the xylem cells of the roots. Thus, water moves from the roots to the greater heights of the plant due to this suction force, which is created by this transpiration. This suction force created by transpiration is called transpiration pull. Students, the water column remains continuous from the xylem of the roots, xylem of the stem, and xylem of the leaves. It does not break due to two more forces, that are cohesion forces and adhesion forces. Cohesive forces occur between the water molecules and adhesive forces occur between water molecules and the walls of the xylem vessels, which does not allow the water column to break and it moves continuously from the roots through the stem to the leaves. What is ascent of sap? Sap means water and mineral salts. Ascent means upward movement. The upward movement of water and minerals from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant, that are leaves, branches, flowers, etc., against gravitational force through xylem tissue by transpiration pull, is called ascent of sap. Now students, at the end of this topic, that the transportation of water and minerals in plants through xylem. Now answer the question, what are the driving forces that help in the movement of water in xylem during day and night? Students, during daytime, transpiration pull is the major driving force that conducts water through xylem. Because stomata are open during the daytime and transpiration takes place through the open stomata, due to which transpiration pull or the suction force is created and water is transported or pulled from roots to the leaves. But at night time, root pressure is mainly the driving force to conduct water through xylem, because at night time the stomata are closed and transpiration does not take place. So at night time, root pressure is the only driving force to conduct water through xylem tissue. Now, let us see what is transpiration and its significance in plants. Or, transpiration is a necessary evil. Comment upon the statement. The process of loss of water in the form of water vapors from the surface of leaves through stomata is called transpiration. What is the significance of transpiration to the plants? Transpiration helps the plants in absorption of water from the soil through the roots. It also helps in ascent of sap, that is the upward movement of water and dissolved mineral salts from roots to the aerial parts of the plant, that are leaves. It also helps the plant in thermal regulation, that is it regulates the temperature of the plants and provide cooling effect to them. Students, we know that evaporation provides cooling effect. So evaporation of water from the surface of the leaves provide cooling effect to the plant, as well as it keeps the surroundings cool. It also helps in improving the quality of the fruits by evaporation of extra water present in them, and increases the concentration of salt or sugar in fruits, seeds, etc. Now let us see, transpiration is a necessary evil. Students, transpiration is necessary because of its importance to the plants. But as the coin has two sides, similarly, along with its importance to the plants, it can be harmful to the plants. Now let us see how it can be harmful to the plants. If the rate of transpiration becomes more than the rate of absorption of water from the roots, then it would be harmful to the plants and leads to the wilting of the leaves of the plant. And if this process continues, this will lead to the ultimate death of the plant. So students, one thing more, if the xylem tissue is blocked, even then water cannot be transported to the aerial parts of the plants, and plants cannot perform the function of photosynthesis, cannot synthesize food, and the whole plant can die. Now students, let us demonstrate the process of transpiration in plants with the help of an activity. For this, take a small well-watered potted plant with broad leaves and label it as pot A. Take another pot B of same size with well watered soil but without plant. Insert a stick of the height of the plant in this pot B. Cover both pot A and pot B with separate polythene bags and tie their mouths firmly to avoid evaporation. Place both the pots, pot A and pot B, in bright sunlight for half an hour. What do we observe after half an hour? We observe that drops of water are visible on the inner side in the polythene bag of pot A with plant, but no drop of water is appeared in pot B with the stick. What do we conclude from these observations? We conclude that water vapors coming from the leaves of the potted plant have condensed on the inner side of the polythene bag. This loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant, that are leaves, in vapor form is called transpiration, which does not take place in pot B due to absence of plant. It means transpiration takes place in plants through leaves. Now, let us learn about transport of food and other substances in plants through phloem tissue. The process of transportation of soluble products of food synthesized in leaves to all parts of the plant through sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells of the phloem tissue by utilizing energy from ATP molecules is called translocation. Now students, let us see the process of translocation with the help of this diagram. Normally, leaves act as source where the food material is synthesized. The storage organs like roots, stems, etc. act as sink where these food materials are stored. For example, carbohydrates like sucrose are continuously formed in the mesophyll cells of the leaves and transferred into the sieve tubes of phloem tissue. This increases the osmotic pressure of this tissue and causes water to move from the adjoining cells into it. This brings the food in soluble form. Now, sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells transport this food in soluble form from leaves to the storage organs like roots or growing regions of the plant according to its need. For example, in the spring season, the buds need energy to grow. They need food. So, the sugar in the form of food stored in the roots or stem tissue transported to the growing buds for their growth as they need energy to grow. This translocation of food takes place both in upward as well as in downward direction. Students, you can get the details of the process of translocation in plants through phloem tissue, which we have learnt with the help of diagram in the previous slide. Now let us see what is difference between transpiration and translocation. Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapors from the surface of leaves. Translocation is the transportation of food manufactured in the leaves in soluble form to all parts of the plant. Transpiration takes place through stomata present in the epidermis of leaves. Translocation takes place through sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells of the phloem tissue present in roots, stems and leaves. Transpiration occurs by diffusion process. Translocation is achieved by utilizing energy in the form of ATP since food is actively transported. Now, let us learn about The major differences between transport of materials in xylem and phloem. Transport in xylem. Xylem transports water with minerals from roots to the aerial parts of the plant like leaves. Phloem transports organic food from leaves to all parts of the plant. Xylem transports water and minerals through xylem vessels and xylem tracheids. Phloem transports organic materials through sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells. Transport in xylem is a passive transport and does not require energy. Transport in phloem is an active transport and it is achieved by utilizing energy from ATP. Transport of water through xylem is unidirectional, that is from roots to leaves in upward direction. Transport of food materials through phloem is multidirectional, that is both in upward and downward directions. So students, this is all for today's topic, that is transportation in plants. I hope you have understood the whole topic nicely. Thank you and have a nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy.